on SBOM. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Tony Aiuto. Though I manage a team that deals with knobs to let you build for multiple platforms, my IC work is about SBOMs. And I'm going to give an overview of the roadmap of the changes from last year, what we've done, and where we are today. Great. So at the end of 2022, I gave a similar talk, and we had a vision. And the vision was that rules license had abilities to annotate packages with the license they were under and their versions and things about them. And that would just get widely deployed, and people would put it in their rule sets, and we'd upstream it to other places. Repository rules, as they were downloading and creating build files or looking at your build files, would splice in information when it was possible. We had existing tools to gather this information, and SBOMs would easily flow out of it. And then we hit the reality. And the reality was, it's a lot of effort to upstream this stuff everywhere. We didn't have staff to do it because we were focused on compliance with the US government DO 14028, modifying build files robustly that other people had written, and inserting license rules. It was a pipe dream, smoking the ganja. And it's difficult to separate. It's right. One of the difficulties we has encountered a lot was tools aren't always marked, and you don't necessarily want them in an SBOM that's saying this is included in my code. The tools aren't. So we learned a lot about separating the tools from the included dependencies in your artifacts. And we learned that low quality SBOMs are easy. You can say, well, I include all this stuff, but there's more that should happen. You want to be able to see things like, I built with this tool, or I used a vendored in jar file that came with its own SBOM. And one of the things we've learned over the last year is that there is no answer to any of those questions. The answers depend on what your lawyers think at your company. I mean, if you're a small open source project, yeah, you can use a generic thing. If you're Google or VMware or Spotify or ASML, your lawyers care about the answers to these in ways that may be different than other people's lawyers. And the specs from SPDX and Cyclone don't necessarily help. They leave a lot of things vague. I mean, if you follow the mailing lists, there's still debate about what these fields mean. They've got definitions, but how we use them is up for grabs. So in spite of these difficulties, we made some progress in 2023. Around June, we started producing an SBOM with Bazel as part of its regular CI. It's a path through. It can be better. Bazel itself has the advantage of only being vendored in third-party code and things from Maven, mostly. So we were able to use the lock file from Maven to get a lot of things in spite of not having rules license annotations on stuff. Inside Google, as part of our compliance effort, we improved the tools to gather licenses. We can export that quickly. And as I said, we learned a lot of new things about interpreting the various specs. We'll come back to that later. So our current vision at the end of 2023 is be pragmatic. While we'd like to upstream package annotations from rules license into everything we include, that's going to be difficult. So the fallback position is use what we can from the upstream and our code bases, and use lock files from package managers to fill in the other information about packages. So they're increasingly adding things like the actual license code is under included SBOM files. We'd like to forward that from the package managers out. And the big realization is we will not be providing solutions totally. We'll be doing reference implementations because your company will have different processes around it than my company. So we'll have things that work out of the box for most people, but for the larger corporations, you're going to want to take the stuff and write your own. Short-term work. We're going to take the things we've done over the last year, bring them into rules license. produce some guidelines for rule authors who want to add their own package declarations to their repositories, and build some reference SBOM generators. And by short term, I mean, we may accomplish a lot of this weekend at a workshop at Packaging Con, so like immediate term. After that, we're going to do the obvious things, do more log files, start reading the Bazel mod log file, which was interesting. We're going to have a mechanism to let you override what package authors say about their packages, because many of them get them wrong. And they say, this is under Apache 2. And when you look at their code, you go, no, it's not. It's GPL'd. So someone in your organization in the compliance team needs the ability to say, no, 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 that package at that version is really this license, in spite of what they say. And I know that's unclean, but yeah, it's the world. We have to deal with it that way. After that, of course, the obvious improvements. We want to make the runtime better, runtime performance better, because we're doing an aspect that takes a top-level target, goes all the way down the tree, and essentially gathers the build graph. We've got some proposals that have started. I've got to make them public to the GitHub world. We've talked about them internally to prune an aspect on the way down, so you can look, oh, those dependencies of this rule are tools. I don't care about them in this graph. Don't even run the aspect down to them. That'll save them some memory. The other thing we'd like to do is annotate the graph in, annotate rules in a way to say, this attribute is a particular kind of dependency. It may be included in my binary, but it's not code. It's a data file, like a message catalog, because that matters in the SBOM world. We have some ideas for that. Like to talk about the trust chain. You know, what machine built this thing? That matters to other people. I had some other thoughts on this. We can come back to it. A lot of people would like to see Cyclone DX in addition to SPDX. They're two standards, so we just have to do both. And in the long run, you're not going to be able to pick one, because your customers are going to pick what they want from you sometimes. So we'll end up supporting that. I'm going to end with a thought that a fellow Bazel community member said. I don't know if they're here today, but their feeling was Cyclone DX is the right thing, should do that. But the US government wants SPDX right now, so we've done that first. How much time do we have? We've got actual time for questions, but I have to leave right after the show, so I'm going to go outside for questions if people want to find me but didn't have office hours before, and I will cede the time back to the next person. There you go.